Professor Jia Qingguo, thanks very much for this interview today. Around this time every year, Beijing becomes the center stage of two political meetings of the National People's Congress and the Chinese People's Political Consultative Conference, of which you are a standing committee member. Now, those meetings this year have now finished. Why are they significant? And should people around the world care about this year's outcomes?
During these two sessions, a lot of policy issues are discussed. A lot of ideas are floated. And if you watch what's going on, you get a better sense of what's going on in China. So a lot of people in the world are paying attention to the two sessions. It's not just out of curiosity. It's also because it's relevant to their respective interests.
Well, as we said earlier, you're not just a renowned scholar, but you're also a standing committee member of the CPPCC. At this year's session, you submitted two proposals, one to drive people-to-people contacts and the other to draw more international students to China. Now, that may seem important, but many people will be thinking, how important are these when you look at the landscape of pressures such as economic growth and job creation?
Well, economic growth and job creation are very important. Probably the most heated topics of this year's sessions. But at the same time, I think how to explain to the world what's going on in China. China needs to explain to the world better, to tell a good story about what's going on in China, because that would lower the level of concerns and also, encourage better interactions between the two countries or between China and the outside world. And also getting more students from other countries to study in China is also very important for this country. We need more people from in other countries to understand China. We need China hands to explain to their own people what's going on in China. And also, these young people are the future leaders of the world. In the long run, we have more people who understand each other and help trade and economic relations. That would bring benefits to both countries.
We talk about telling the story of China to elevate openness and communication and understanding. Do you think there are people out there who are able to tell the story of China? And also, is there that willingness to tell that story of China?
Well, there are a lot of people who are capable and also level-minded and rational and pragmatic. And they can tell a good story about China. China's story is very complex. It involves a lot of aspects. We need, not just a few people to tell the story about China, but also people-to-people exchange to encourage people in different walks of life to talk to each other. So that they can get a more comprehensive picture of what's going on in China. So, of course, in the process, the experts and scholars and also former officials, they can play a larger role. In one of my proposals, I argue that we need to encourage these people instead of restricting these people to engage in this kind of a process.
4 months have passed since the leaders of the United States and China met in California. That's 4 whole months. That's a third of the year, basically. And a lot of people are asking whether anything has fundamentally shifted or improved since that time. Professor Jia, when you think about California and what the San Francisco vision promises, what must happen now to make that vision a reality?
Well, quite a few things have happened since then. the two countries have stepped up a re-engagement process. In other words, officials of the two countries at different levels are meeting each other. Okay, these two big countries, their relationship cannot be run by two people. They need to be run by a lot of people. And that's the part of the spirit of the San Francisco meeting. However, the distrust is still deep, and domestic politics is still quite hostile, especially in the U.S. Recently, the Congress is deliberating a bill to ban TikTok. That's a symbol of this distrust and the politicization of the relationship. I think the two countries should continue to pursue the policy of re-engagement and also try to cooperate on areas of shared interest, and including to make greater efforts to help shape the global governance. But of course, there are a lot of uncertainties in their efforts to do so. If Trump gets elected, I think the current course of development probably would change in a negative way, I think, more likely than not.
The last time I interviewed Professor Jia Qingguo was during the pandemic, in conversation with the great American scholar Ezra Vogel, who very sadly passed away shortly after that interview. Well, in today's conversation, what I take away is the power and value of open communications to build trust at a time when trust, as he says, is very, very sadly absent. That's what we do here at the China-United States Exchange Foundation, not only building trust, but also openness and also confidence. And we feel that digital platforms such as this one go a long way towards that. But we also build trust through people-to-people contacts, in particular through student exchanges. Earlier this year, we had a whole delegation from Columbia University travel from New York to Beijing, to Chengdu, and also to Shenzhen. And we look forward to sharing more stories about these exchanges as we go through the year. Thanks very much for joining us here, and we'll be back with more interviews on China-US Focus.